Hello everyone. So this is the first video I've done on this where I've just sat and talked. So I'm usually walking around, traveling, doing things, but I just wanted to do one where I just sit and talk. So I'm trying this out right now. I don't know how good I'll be at it, but I'll give it a try. And I want to talk about traveling cheaper. A lot of people ask me, or some people ask, maybe only 2 people have asked me, but I still thought I'd make a video about it. How do I travel cheap? Or they'll ask me like, how do you afford to do all this traveling? Because I usually go like 3 or 4 places a year for long periods of time. And basically I say, I don't really spend a lot of money. And they go, how? I just want to go through this because I want people to understand the 3 ways I save money. One is transportation, the other one is food, and the other one is lodging. So those are the kind of the 3 categories. But what people don't understand often is that I want to place this in a context of what I do here. And that is, I'm going to look at 2 different ways of looking at this. So it's like traveling and vacationing. Okay, so those are the 2 things that I want to kind of juxtapose. So with traveling, I'm thinking of exploration. I'm thinking of adventure. I'm thinking of those types of things. I'm embracing the uncertainty. I'm embracing the discomfort. I'm looking at the journey as much as I am the destination. Now there is a destination, but I love the journey as well. So I always tell my kids, I say, my vacation or my trip starts as soon as I get in the car and I'm on the way to the airport. So the whole thing is like really nice to me. I really enjoy all of it. And I don't care what happens along the way. It's not that I don't care, but like I'm okay with it if something goes wrong, okay? So if you have a vacationer says, I'm looking only at the destination. So I don't want any troubles along the way. I want to go to a beach somewhere and I want to relax, or I want to go to a resort, or I just want pure comfort. I want to get out of the cold, for instance. I live in Michigan, so they want to get out. People get drafted from Michigan here to Florida during spring break, I swear. Everybody goes down there, they want peace, comfort, everything. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the other one, the adventure, the exploration, all that stuff. So I put myself and I try things that may be just uncomfortable for me, maybe uncertain for me, but it brings out that adventure. Uncertainty brings adventure, it brings exploration. So maybe it's the difference, maybe you could say like the difference between going to a resort and going camping or something like that maybe. You're kind of roughing it in a way, but I do it in another country. So that's kind of the context that I want to place this in, because people will get confused and go, why are you going through all this? Or why are you doing this? You know, this is not the point of it. And it is the point of it. And that's the point I want to make. It's the point to make this, I have adventure, I have fun. So I'll give you a little story, for instance. Well, I was with this girl at the time. I went to Paris. We went to Paris. We had never, I'd been on like the tube in London, that was it, in terms of subways and stuff like that. And so she had never been to Paris. I had never been to Paris. She had never been on a subway or a tube or whatever, a metro they call it in Paris. And so I said, let's go on the metro. Let's just go take the metro. So we skipped the cab, okay? So we could have taken a cab and spent more money. I said, let's go find the metro and let's get on it. So we went down, walked into the city. We're trying to find our way to the place we were staying, and we went down in the metro, waited. So we got on the metro, and I'm standing in the metro, and I'm looking at the map, and I'm trying to figure it out as I'm going. And I'm going, So I looked at it, and I said, hey, you know what? I think we got to go the other way. So I grab her bag, and I step off the metro. I step off the train and stop, and she's like, okay, and she starts going off the metro or the train. She starts to step off, and door's shut. So I'm like, what? So I start hitting, I'm trying to open the door as if I was going to open the door and just stop I believed in my head I could just, hey, you guys need to stop the train. We need to stop. She needs to get off here. We're new here and you need to accommodate us. The door slammed shut. She's like trying to get out. I'm trying to get at her. And she's looking at me. And I never saw such fear in someone's face. She was just like, with her mouth open. And then all of a sudden, the train just started going away, and I watched her face just go, and she was gone into the abyss. And so then I said, oh my gosh. So now we have cell phones and stuff, but both of our battery, or my battery was completely dead on my cell phone. So I couldn't contact her. And so I looked and I said, well, I'll get my charger and charge my phone. And then I realized I had grabbed her bag. And she was just gone forever. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I thought, she knows where I am, but I have no idea where she's going. I turned around and I just sat there. And I said, she's going to have to come back. Here was the other problem. The metro, it was like 11:30 at night, and the metro was going to close at midnight. And so I said, if she doesn't get back here in time, we don't even know where the hotel is. It wasn't a hotel, it was like an Airbnb thing. We don't know where anything is. It's like, if we can't find each other, we're going to walk the streets of Paris all night looking for each other. It was just a terrifying thing. Now, in reality, it really wasn't. It was just, all she had to do was get off the next stop, go to the next train, and come back. That's all she had to do. But in your mind, the fear takes over. So anyway, I waited about 10, 15 minutes, and here she comes back. She gets out and goes, oh my gosh, that was terrible, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, that's kind of like, we took a chance instead of going, and it only cost like 50 cents at the time, I think. Or otherwise we would have paid like probably about 30 euro for a cab. But we went the cheap way and we got this adventure, and it was a great story to tell afterwards. Now, assuming you don't die, you can just do this, okay? But most things are okay, we're just scared of them. So with that said, I just want to talk about three areas that I save money and some of the things I do. The first is airlines, transportation. I'll go through a little bit of transportation. But airlines, I'm not gonna go through the credit card thing because everybody's beat that like a dead horse. You can get credit card rewards. I use Chase Rewards, I use United Miles, I use Delta Sky Miles. All that stuff you can use on a credit card and they'll give you bonus points. Most people know this. Now, the one thing I do wanna say about this, I've often heard people say, well, I use City Rewards and I can choose to do travel, or I can buy other things. So if I just want to go travel somewhere, I'll just use that card. What I would say to that is make it easy on yourself. If you want to travel, make it so that you'll do it. Okay, so if you get an airline card and it has points for airlines, you're more likely to go on a trip. You're more likely to push yourself out there and do it. You look at it and go, well, this is gonna go to waste unless I buy an airline ticket. If you have a city card or some other card that you could buy everything on and you just get bonus rewards, you're gonna go, you're probably gonna go with the immediate thing. Oh, I'd like a new TV, and they just buy a new TV. So I would say use credit card miles, but use them specifically, use the specific credit card miles so that you will force yourself kind of to travel. Because a lot of people they want to travel and they say that, but then they don't take the steps to do it. They don't make it easier on themselves. And sometimes when you get a card and do that, you make it easy on yourself. So that's a good thing with airlines. Another thing you can do too, if you want to travel cheaper, let the airline ticket pick where you're going. I know that sounds crazy, but that goes back to this adventure thing. So get on there, go to skyscanner.com and put in your city where you live, and it'll show a thing that says everywhere, and you just click that everywhere and it'll pop up and it'll show you all the places, and it'll go from the cheapest one to the most expensive one. And sometimes it'll put on there like, oh, it's really cheap to fly to Nicaragua or El Salvador or Costa Rica or something like that. Choose that place based on that. You'll never be let down. You'll always love. Every country I've traveled to, I've loved. I just loved it. I've adored every country. And so it's been amazing. Every experience has been amazing. So let that choose you. That's a good way to save money. Instead of planning at first and going, hey, I want to go to this place, do it that other way. Let the airline choose where you're going. Now, Google Flights is a good one too. If you get on Google Flights, if you're going to Europe, for instance, or South America, you can just put the continent in there and they'll show you all the places that you can fly to. Now, if you want to go to a specific place in Europe, for instance, you can put Google Flights in there and put Europe. It'll show you all the places. So say if I want to go to Spain, but Spain is really expensive to fly to, I can look at that map and it literally shows you a map. And if I had the technological skills, I'd show you this, but it literally shows you a map of all of Europe and it shows prices on each. What you can do is fly to Paris for cheap and then just jump on a little plane and go to Spain if you wanted to go to Spain. And you do it a lot cheaper. Now with that, I will say this, you have to carry a backpack. So that's hard for people to do, but that's a way to save money, is carry a backpack. Now, what do I do with that? People say, oh, how do you have enough clothes? How do you do this? Well, if you're carrying a backpack, you got to do your laundry. You got to go find a place while you're there to do your laundry. Okay, and you just drop it off and do it. I mean, maybe girls don't like this as much because they want to carry, like my daughter, she'll want to carry all this stuff. She doesn't like doing that. But if you can all do it, it's very cheap because you just carry the backpack and you don't get charged for a bag. And you can jump around these little flights around Europe and they're very cheap. So you fly into Paris, for instance, and then you can just take a little flight to Spain if you want to go to Spain or Budapest or wherever you're going. Those are some ways for transportation. Some other transportation things are always take the subway, always take buses, all that stuff. Taxis, especially from airports, taxis are extremely expensive. I was in Spain, Sevilla, Spain last summer. Very expensive to take a cab or an Uber. It was like 30 euros, 35 euros, but there's a bus right outside there and it takes you to the city center. And just take your maps out and follow your Google map as you're going. And when you get close to your place, jump off the bus. Okay, it was only €6, €5. I think it was €5, 5 or 6 euro to ride that bus down to the city. Very cheap. Sometimes it's less than that. I mean, in El Salvador, I went from Santa Ana to San Salvador. It was like $3. It's a pretty far trip, like 3 hours, I think. I can't remember. So you can save money that way. Take all the buses, take all the subway or the metros, they're really fun. You go in there and you can't go wrong in it. You just go in there and you'll end up finding your way. You'll just find your way. If you stay in it long enough, you'll find out where you're going and you'll learn the thing. So it's very beneficial. Those are a few ways to save some money when you're traveling with transportation. Now, going into lodging. This is a big one. I use booking.com. I've used Airbnb as well. It's not bad, Airbnb. I just find it a little more cumbersome for me. So the one thing I would say is this. If you use Booking, and you can do this on Airbnb as well, it's just you gotta find the ones that are free cancellation. As soon as you're thinking about going somewhere, get on it right away. Get on booking.com, click it in, and find something and book it. Find something cheap and book it. But make sure it has free cancellation on it. When it has free cancellation, you can hold it there for an extended period of time. Usually sometimes up until the night before you're going. So it's really beneficial that way. So you hold it there. Now, once you get on there, say it's like 3 months ahead of time or what have you, you got it booked, you got it held or whatever. In the meantime, start looking for other things because other things will come up cheap. So in that time period, say it's 3-4 months, start looking through it. Start looking for new things, and you'll go, oh, I like this one better. Start researching the area you're going to and say, oh, this is actually a better place to stay. And then you will change it. You'll cancel that one, get another one. And you'll keep doing that as a process until you get it down. As you start 3 months, 4 months ago, you'll start to know the area better. You'll start doing more research and you'll start finding better areas to stay. And then you'll start finding cheaper areas too. So you kind of want to start out holding something so that you go, okay, I got this guaranteed. If worse comes to worse, I don't find anything else, I got this at a good cheap price. And I got it early. I went to Spain last year. I booked a place for a whole month. And it was like €350 or something like that. So I went back there and I said, you know what? I might want to go to Granada. And I just wanted to change my mind. I went back and looked, and even to book that place again that I was in, it went up to like €900. It was insane, okay? But at least you got something booked, you got something held, and then as you're researching, you can change your mind if you want to, and keep going through the free cancellation things. Now, the other thing is, I stay in hostels, But I don't like hostels, to be honest with you. I don't like staying in rooms where they got 12 people in there. That drives me insane. So one thing I wanted to mention about all this stuff, I talked about adventure and exploration. Some of it you have to deal with your own tolerance level. Some people have a tolerance level for certain things. Me, sleep. I need sleep. So that's one thing I'm not going to be adventurous on, is sleeping. So I want to make sure I'm in there. I don't like sleeping in with people snoring and smelly feet and BO and all that stuff. I just can't take that. So I like to have my own room, but I like to be in a hostel because you can kind of meet people, especially if you're traveling alone. So what I do is I go to booking.com and I find a hostel. Now, most people see the hostel if they click on the booking and they go, okay, well, I see the hostel. It's got 10 beds and I can get one bed in a dorm room or something like that. And you go, oh, okay, well, I don't really want to do that. So you go on and move on to a hotel. It's a lot more expensive. But if you click in that thing, a lot of times the hostel has a private room in it and it'll show it in more detail. So click it. If you get on booking.com, for instance, and as I said, if I had better technology skills, I'd show you this, or if I had time, I would do a video just learning that. If somebody wanted to see what I was talking about, let me know. Anyway, if you click the hostel and go in there, it'll show a list of rooms they have. So sometimes they have like 12 beds in a dorm, and then it goes down to like 8 beds, and then it goes down to 4 beds. There'd basically be 4 people in the room. And then it goes down to single private room, and sometimes it's $20 a night. It's just a little bit more expensive. So try that if you don't like staying in with people, but if you want to stay at a hostel, because hostels are fun. They go on adventures in there. It's some of the best places I've stayed in hostels. And they're a lot cheaper. The other thing you can do on booking.com is if you go to the top bar, it says sort, and you can hit sort, and it brings down, it says lowest price first. And you click that, and any area you put in, it'll show you the lowest price to the highest price. And that usually, when you hit that lowest price, it takes you straight to the hostels and with the dorm rooms and all that. And you can start clicking through those down the line and find a private room within the hostel. So that works really good. Okay, so that's lodging. Now, food. For food, this is a big one. So a couple things on this. If you stay at one of these hostels, you can buy all your own food. So you can go to the grocery store, buy all your own food at the grocery store, bring it back to the hostel. The hostel has a kitchen there, and you can do all your own cooking, just like you're at home. Now, a good principle a lot of people use is you eat out once a day, and the rest of the time you eat in the hostel. You just buy food there and eat in the hostel. So that works pretty good. You save a lot of money that way. You can also just eat in the hostel all the time. That's a way of saving. I do that a lot. I don't like eating out that much. I mean, I love eating out, especially in other countries, but I hate paying the price. This a lot depends on the country you're in. So if you do want to save money, go to a cheaper country where you can, and you like to eat out, that's a thing, then go to that cheaper country. Visit a cheaper country that's cheap to eat out in. I went to Argentina last year. Super expensive to eat out in. It was just crazy. So I didn't eat out much. But if I went to Colombia or Nicaragua, it's very, very inexpensive to eat out. I mean, like $3-5. So you're like, okay, I'm just going to eat out because it's not that bad. So it depends on what you like. So that's a good way to save on food. If you're in the hostel, take food. If you go out for a trip for the day, pack a lunch. I know that sounds kind of simplistic, but it is. Pack a lunch, pack drinks. The other thing you can do, and this is kind of interesting, I did this last time, but I got so sick of being in airports because I jump around airports a lot. And I got sick of buying food in the airport. So I started packing a lunch to the airport. And I would just take my lunch and put it in the conveyor thing, and it would run through. And as long as I didn't have any, like one day I had pudding or yogurt or something like that, and they made me eat it before I got in there. But the rest of the stuff I could just pack and bring with me. It was perfect. The other thing you're gonna wanna do is when you're at the airport, bring yourself a bottle. You can get a bigger one than this, but get a little plastic bottle and just carry it with you. And what I do is I crunch it down and I stick it in my bag to save room because I don't usually have a lot of room in my bag. It's usually packed to the gills as much as I can get in the backpack. And then when I want water, I pull it out of the bag. Whoops. Anyway, that blew up pretty good. And then I fill it up, drink it, crunch it up again, shove it in my bag. Water is extremely expensive in airports. Sometimes it's $6 for a bottle of water. And I just don't want to pay that because that's insane. One other thing, when you're saving money, you can go to a grocery store, and a lot of times they have a deli in the grocery store. I saw this in Thailand, Vietnam, I think Colombia as well. Few countries I've seen this in, I don't remember them all. But go to the grocery store like you're going to go shopping and look, and they'll have a deli in the back, and you can buy all your food there. You can buy lunch, whatever, and it's like prepared, cooked food. So if you like something like that, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but sometimes the food is really good. In Thailand, it was really good, so I saved a lot of money in there. So those are some ways to save money on food. Here's the other thing, just a little bonus to save money. And it kind of translates into a lot of, or a couple of these different things I've talked about. But when you walk in a place, when you go there and just walk as much as you can. First of all, you're exercising, you're moving around, you're getting to see the city. It's great. Secondly, when you're walking around, you're kind of finding the cheaper places to eat. Okay, so if you do like eating out, walking is a great thing for that because you're exploring the whole city. When I was in Argentina last summer, I just thought it was so expensive, and I just walked everywhere. I walked, and as I was walking, I would stop and look and go, oh, look, like I found this place that had a burger and fries and a drink for like $6. And I thought, well, this is great. And then I found another restaurant, really good restaurant that was very inexpensive. So that was from walking around the city. It works really well. Plus you save in transportation, okay? You're not taking the bus, or not taking an Uber, or not taking, so try to walk as much as you can. Plus you get to see the beauty of a city. You get to see all the things that are, all the places, every nook and cranny. You get to meet people on the street. You talk to people, you ask directions, all that stuff. So that's a great addition, is just walking. And it'll save you money in transportation, and it'll save you money in food. And hopefully it creates adventure, creates meeting people, all that stuff. So I'm all about the adventure, and so hopefully that helps. Those are some of the ways I save money. I could go into a lot more detail, but those are the things. So hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.